Did we read the book?
Yes.
Did we understand it?
Debatable. Welcome to Reading Between Wines,
where the books are questionable,
the opinions are strong,
and the wine is absolutely necessary. I'm Cici.
And I'm Mariana, and today we have thoughts.
So many thoughts.
So pour yourself something strong.
You're gonna need it.
Let's uncork this week's read. And what are we drinking today?
Today we are drinking a crisp Sauvignon Blanc. I probably said that completely wrong. Do not correct me. It has sharpness that matches the tension simmering beneath the Sinclair's family's polished exterior. And we are talking about We Were Liars by E. Lockhart. It follows Canon Sinclair Eastman, the granddaughter of a wealthy family who spends every summer on their private island. I feel so fancy saying that. After a mysterious accident leaves her with memory loss, migraines, and missing pieces of her past, Candace returns to the island, determined to uncover what happened during summer 15. As she reconnects with her cousins, Johnny and Miriam, along with her first love, Kat, she begins to unravel the secrets hidden beneath the Sinclair's family picture-perfect image. What starts as a story about privilege, family drama, and first love slowly becomes a devastating exploration of grief, racism, entitlement, and the consequences of believing you can solve complex problems with one reckless decision. The novel builds towards a shocking twist that forces Candace and the reader to confront the truth about what happened that summer and the lasting damage caused by dead generations of wealth, pride, and denial. I just have to tell everyone watching that my glass broke, so I am drinking out of this.
I like your new cup. It's so classy.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I think it matches my vibe. What did you think this book was going to be before you started?
As Cici described it, they have a private island. They're very rich. They're like old money rich. And I just thought it was going to be like rich people family drama. People with inheritance issues. I thought there was going to be some mystery. Maybe like a summer romance, like a little summer fling. What I did not expect was all of the psychological warfare that happened to me in this book. Thank you, Cici. Usually when people have a twist ending, you don't expect it to be what it was. I figured I'd see it coming, because Cici did mention to me there would be a twist at the end. I kept reading, I was like, it's probably gonna be nothing, and readers, let me just say, I did not fucking see that coming. What about you? What did you think this book was gonna be before you started?
I watched the TV show before I read the book, which is not normally what I do. I always read the book before the TV show. I was just like, oh, this looks like a cute little summery TV show. I was just like, off of The Summer I Turned Pretty, was either about to come out or it just came out. I just wanted something like kind of the same vibe. This was not it. I had absolutely no idea what the TV show was about, and then it destroyed me. And it was traumatic. Going into the book, I already knew the big twist. Obviously, it didn't surprise me. This is probably a controversial opinion, but I do think that the TV show does it better than the book. The side characters in the book, I feel like they are mostly side characters. We don't really know a lot about Johnny and Miriam. In the TV show, we get into a lot of the background about those two characters as well. I think the book focuses a lot on racism, manipulation, entitlement, and the absolute wild dynamics within the Sinclair family. I have thoughts about the grandfather. Boy, oh boy, just you wait. The show touches on some of those topics, but not in so much depth like the book does. The book has good things, and the TV show has other good things.
Mind you, she did know this was going to be horrible for me because she knows I hate books that make me cry. Everybody knows that. If you know me, they know that I hate books that make me cry. And she still thought,
Well, do you really want to go there? I have a couple of books that you made me read.
Well, I'm going to get you back. Just know that.
You already got me back. I read the book. I'm not going to... Oh, okay. Before we carry on, we'll never talk about this again. The things that happened to the dogs did not happen. I refuse to believe it. They are alive and well. And if you talk about them, I will leave.
I'm gonna cry.
No, don't.
This was a bad episode not to have tissues around.
You're crying because they're happy. They're running around and happy, right?
Yeah.
If you had to pick one quote to summarize this book, what would it be?
I actually have two.
Do you really?
What?
Do you really?
Yeah, I do. Indeed.
Oh.
The first is their like tradition of writing on their right and left hands. She says, I find a Sharpie and write on my hands. On the left, be a little, and then on the right, kinder. Honestly, this quote becomes so much more heartbreaking when you know the ending, because throughout the book, Cadence is trying to like piece together what happened to her. Underneath all of that is this message about empathy, privilege, and the consequences of our actions. I'm talking about you, grandfather. The Liars genuinely believe. The Liars is what they call themselves, the group of cousins and friends, Mira and Johnny Gat and Cadence. They genuinely believe they were fixing their family's problems when they decided to burn Claremont down. The intentions came from a place of wanting things to be better, but the outcome was absolutely devastating. Be a little kinder ends up feeling like an entire message of the book wrapped up in 6 words. It's simple, but after that ending, it just hits like a truck.
Before you carry on, do you want to guess what mine is?
Is it about something she writes on her hands?
Mine is also be a little kinder. Be a little kinder than you have to. It's mine.
We know each other so well.
Yeah.
That's
also ironic because so many of the characters fail to do exactly that, but that's my quote of the book.
well, that's what's the lesson at the end, right?
Yes, exactly.
My second quote is, I think it's the last sentence of the book, where she says, I suffer migraines, I do not suffer fools. As someone who suffers from migraines myself, this immediately became one of those lines that got permanently stored into my brain. First off, it's hilarious. I can use it for myself. When someone is acting like a fool, I can say, I suffer migraines, I do not suffer fools. So I think that's great. Second, I think Cadence spends most of the book dealing with debilitating migraines, while everyone around her is like hiding things, lying to her, or treating her like she's fragile. I think it perfectly captures the frustration that she's probably felt. But mostly I love it because it's the kind of quote that feels useful in real life. The refusal to tolerate nonsense, aspirational. So I feel like one quote summarizes the heart of the story and the other summarizes my personality.
Do you think this is box wine or Vineyard Elite?
Vineyard Elite. This book is wealthy people behaving badly on a private island while wearing expensive sweaters and pretending everything is fine. The Sinclair family practically bleeds old money dysfunction. It's giving generational trauma with an ocean view. And you, was this box wine energy or Vineyard Elite?
I would say Vineyard Elite marketing.
Okay.
They think they are Vineyard Elite, but deep down, the Sinclairs are basically the definition of, you know what I'm going to say because he said the same thing, of old money Vineyard Elite energy. Everything is appearances, legacy, and protecting the family image. They're the kind of family that looks perfect from a distance. Beautiful houses, private islands, old money, and endless summer traditions. But take one step inside and you realize the whole thing is rotten. Underneath all the wealth and polish are grudges, manipulation, racism, greed, and people willing to sacrifice their own happiness to maintain the illusion of being a Sinclair. The wine label, beautiful. The bottle, expensive. The contents, questionable.
It's a good summary.
Thank you. Who annoyed you most?
The adults. Every single Sinclair adult. Every single one. Harris, Sinclair, especially grandfather, go to hell. Sorry, I know that's rude considering the book, but what the fuck?
Oh.
This entire tragedy exists mostly because the grown adults cared more about appearances, inheritance, money, and family image than the actual well-being of their children. Watching Penny, Carrie, and Bess, which are the kids of Harris and I'm forgetting grandmother's name, but anyways, grandmother, they are constantly fighting over Harris's approval, like it's a contest, while the kids are drowning in the fallout, was infuriating. Watching them argue over like the cutlery, the jewelry, the this, that, I was just like, ew.
Petty stuff. Petty stuff.
And you're all adults and your kids are watching this? Like, ew. The kids were trying to fix problems the adults created. Granted, they did not fix it in the best way, which is, spoiler alert, is not a responsibility children should ever have.
No.
What about you? Who annoyed you more?
Oh,
I think I know who it's going to be.
You know?
Yeah.
Everybody knows. Everyone knows. And we can say it together. 1, 2, 3. The grandfather.
Harris. Oh, what?
I said the grandfather. You said Harris.
Oh, Harris. That's the same thing. Okay, woo.
I did not give him a name. He is the grandfather for me. No, thank you. Every scene reminded me that he's the root of so much toxicity in this family. The racism, I'm going to talk so much about racism here. You're going to get sick of me. The manipulation, the obsession with inheritance. Oh my god. It all starts with him. How much he manipulates them and how they fight over the inheritance. He gains years from this. You know what I mean? Like he's acting as if he's God on earth. It's pissing me off. He likes that they're all against each other because that makes him feel better about himself, and he's a man-child. Grown-ass man-child. Even after everything that happens with the liars, he never really seems to learn anything from it. People literally died. Like him, people are dying. And he's still like, yeah, but who am I gonna give this house to? Like, girl, no one cares. And honestly, Candace, she also annoyed me. The entitlement of this girl is wild. She spent every summer of her life on this island, and she didn't know any of the names of the stuff. Like, are you joking? And Gat brings that up, and she's like, oh, right. Okay, well, you know, even though she realizes that, yeah, it's correct, she's not trying to learn them or anything. Another thing that annoyed me was that her mum is practically begging her to pretend she likes the house at one point. Just say you like it so we can keep it. And she's like, nah. Nah? That was your problem. You can just say, yeah, I like this house. I like it. Let me keep it. Your mom is asking one thing out of you. One thing. And you're like,
to be fair, that is a stupid thing to ask a child. You're gonna get inheritance, you're gonna get money, and you care about a stupid house?
Sometimes it's not just money that you care about. Her mom helped build that house, helped decorate it. It's sentimental value to her.
I guess. Is that something that you should put on a kid?
But she's not putting on the kids. Honestly, she does like living there. So she's not lying. She's not asking her to lie. She's just like, if you say this, it would help me. Why wouldn't you do it? It's just to help me. It's not gonna go against your morals. It's not like I'm asking you to lie. I'm just asking you to tell the truth and say that yes, you do like living here.
Yeah, I get it.
Instead, it's like, oh, because the other ones have bigger houses. They have enough money to add rooms to the other houses. Like, don't fuck with me, Cannons. I am pissed off. Honestly, she pissed me off. I know she's young, but there were moments where I wanted to... They set fire to the big house because the grandfather is using this house
and the things inside of it, like the jewelry, the paintings, all of that.
The grandfather is using this to hold power over the family, and the liars decide that if all of this is gone, then there's no power.
Cadence decides. This was her motherfucking idea.
Yeah, she's the one that says, I think we should burn all of this. They do that. Gat, Johnny, and Marian get stuck inside the house. I will not be talking anything else. They are the only ones stuck inside that house. And they unfortunately die. There's this big explosion. Cadence is thrown into the ocean, and she loses her memory. And that's why she doesn't remember any of this. When she goes back to the island after 2 years, for her, the liars are still alive and well.
So she's seeing their ghosts.
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
In the TV show. In a TV show, she says goodbye to all of them when we figure out that they're all dead. And Johnny says, I don't want to burn anymore. He's scared that he's going to hell. And she's like, if there's a heaven, then I'm sure you're there. I'm telling the TV show is so good. Just thinking about Johnny is like my favorite character.
Oh my god. That's horrific. Why would you tell me that?
I know. It's so bad. Anyway, who do you relate to?
Out of all the characters, maybe Johnny. Because even when everything is falling apart, Johnny somehow manages to keep making jokes and trying to lighten the mood. He's like the emotional support cousin. If I was trapped in a dysfunctional rich family, I'd absolutely be coping with sarcasm and bad decisions, so I completely get him. What about you? Who do you relate to more?
Johnny is my favorite. We all know that I love a golden retriever, and Johnny is definitely a golden retriever. I will not be talking about any more other golden retrievers. Okay, don't talk about. But who do I relate to more? I'm gonna say Gat. Not because our experience are identical at all, but he sees problems that everyone else either ignores or refuses to acknowledge. And I spoke about this a little bit earlier when it's like, Kenneth, you spend your whole life here, summers and stuff. You don't know a single person on the staff. Now, one name. He always is the one bringing this stuff to the light. His frustration feels real. As someone who is mixed race, I can never compare my experience to Gat's experience. Completely different. He is a person of color, so obviously his experience is going to be different than mine because, as a lot of people would say, I can pass as white. So, I have never dealt with racism, except I have. But that's now the conversation for another time. Those conversations about racism that Gat had with Candace really hit home. But like I said, I don't want it to get mixed up. I'm not saying that my experience is Gat's experience. I'm just saying that I understand where he's coming from. I know what it's like to have people asking, so which one of your parent is white? Yeah, I got that. When I was younger, my hair was very, very, very curly. People asking, like, can I touch your hair? California. I have had people asking me, so where are you from? Like, you know, originally.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing because it's so stupid.
People are like, so where are you from? And I'm like, Portugal. No, but like, originally. And I'm like...
And then I would say, hell.
And I'm like...
I'm here to kill you.
It's still Portugal, darling. It could be considered hell, but it is Portugal.
And let me just say, the concept of someone asking me if they could touch my hair would be so wild. Ew, don't put your gross hands in my hair.
Why would you? I had people just come up to me, especially when I was younger and I was like in primary school and stuff. I had really, really, really curly hair. I had kids just touch my hair just out of the blue. Oh! And I was just like, okay, I guess we're doing this. That's cool. One time my dad, which by the way is the parent that's black, he went to get me from school one time and my parents are separated, so he barely shows up in high school. Right? He picked me up and the next day all the kids were like, so your dad's black, hey? He's black. I'm like, yeah. He's like, what's that like? What do you mean? To have a black dad or to have a dad? What do you mean? I don't understand. When you're a child, you don't understand that.
I don't understand that question.
There were kids as well, but like when you're a child, you don't understand that it's racist what they're doing. I remember going home and telling my mom, and my mom's like, who said it? Tell me the names. The racism in this book ended up being one of the most memorable parts for me. Not just the obvious comments, because they were obvious comments, but the way people dismissed, minimize, or explain away Gat's experience instead of actually listening to him, that hit home because as a mixed race person, you're never really black, but you're never really white. So you're just like an in-between kind of person and no one really listens to your experience of how you see the world, you know what I mean? Again, not to minimize anyone's experience of the world. I'm not saying mine is more difficult than anyone else's. Again, I can never really truly understand what it's like to be a person of color. It's just a different experience, and every time that Gat spoke about it, I was just like, yes, tell them. The entitlement here is just his own character. Do you have any honorable mentions?
I'm just gonna say this. Mirren deserves her flowers. She's artistic, observant, kind. There are moments when, like, Cadence is showing her all the unopened letters, and she's not putting together why they were never read. Mirren, the ghost, read them all to her, and she just kind of, like, got up and walked away. I don't think Cadence understood that at the time. She somehow manages to be one of the most, besides Gat, like, emotionally intelligent people on the island despite being surrounded by absolute chaos. And I also mentioned Gat here because he spends the entire book being the only person consistently willing to call out the Sinclair family privilege and hypocrisy. Everyone else is pretending that cracks don't exist, and Gat is standing there with a flashlight kind of just pointing, oh, there's one there, there's a fucking crack right there, there's one right over there. So I think Gat also deserves an honorable mention. What about you? Do you have any that you'd like to point out?
I would say again, Johnny. He deserved one more page. He deserved way more screen time. And I don't know if it's because I've watched the TV show first. In the book, they are like 2D, and in the TV show, they are 3D characters. You know, like, they have a lot of more depth to them. Maybe because of that, I just was expecting a lot more of Mariana and Johnny, and they didn't have that in the book, and that kind of upset me. Both Johnny and Mariana in the TV show, they are so interesting as characters. Also, someone that really broke my heart, and I don't think it's spoken enough, either in the TV show or the book, Gat's mom. She is a single mom. She has worked really hard to give Gat a really good life, and she just loses her son. It makes me so emotional thinking about it. This poor woman, she just sends her kid to have a nice summer with his friends, and then he never comes back. She's just there alone.
That's so sad. I didn't really think of it from that perspective.
Yeah, her pain is just not talked about at all. I think it's because this book is written from a teenage perspective. Obviously, I think an adult or a mom would think about Gat's mom a lot more. For example, me, because I am a single mom. If I had sent my kid to spend a summer with his friends and then I would get a call, I don't even know how she found out about Gat. Oh my god, this poor woman, the grief she must feel, and she doesn't have support at all from what we get from this book. Okay, I don't know if she has like friends and family around her, but it doesn't seem like it.
From that perspective, it's sad. Maybe I'll watch the show, but I don't know. Really don't want to cry again, especially if you give me more of Johnny. That's going to be like heartbreaking. I think it's also interesting that they gave the characters more screen time. Like, it's not just about Cadence, it's about all of them, and you see their lives outside of the island.
No, their lives outside of the island.
You don't? So how do you see more of Mirren, Gat, and Johnny then?
Something there, you have to watch a TV show.
Come on! You can't. Like, you're gonna make me watch the fucking TV show to cry again.
Yeah, of course I am. I'm not telling you to do that.
Okay, whatever. Would you want this relationship in real life?
Absolutely. The chemistry is there, but the communication is a disaster. Gat and Kenneth spend too much time misunderstanding each other and not enough time actually talking. What about you?
I also put absolutely not. I normally read books when men commit crimes because they made eye contact with a woman. I just finished a book where the guy touched her arm and he goes, well, that's it. He's not going to have an arm anymore. So I'm not usually the person that says no. But Cadence and Gat's relationship is built all on secrets, miscommunication, grief, and emotional devastation. And also, do they really know each other?
They start with cheating.
He was with the girl, another girl, right?
Yes.
This wasn't a relationship. This is just someone, I go to my therapist and I'm like, here's a referral for you. Have at it, bitch. That wasn't a relationship for me. That was horrible. Do you think the drama was justified?
Mostly. Yes, the family dynamics, racism, inherent battles, and grief are all real issues. The teenager's solution for those issues was bad, but again, they are teenagers. I think that's the entitlement as well. They don't really think through things. They're just like, let's just do this because we've always been sheltered in life. For me, at 15, I wouldn't have been like, let me set fire to this. This is fine. I wouldn't think that. What about you?
I think the drama was justified. I think the Sinclair family is basically decades of greed, racism, emotional manipulation, and generational trauma stacked on top of each other until something finally explodes, literally. The drama wasn't the problem. The fact that nobody addressed the problem was the problem. And the fact that the liars felt the need to step in, that was so sad. This was when they were 15, because she comes back when she's 17. They were 15. When I was 15, I was a goddamn idiot. I was a goddamn moron, honestly. Here they are at 15, and Gat, wise beyond his years, seeing their parents and the family and seeing how they're greedy, seeing all of this problem around the racism and the trauma. It's like the Hunger Games for rich people. I think it's just insane that 15-year-olds, I was thinking it out. Logically, if I was going to burn down the house, how would I have done it? I would have gone upstairs to the top floor, lit a match, gone downstairs to the basement, light a match, and then on the way out, light a match. I don't know why they all went to their separate floors.
No, exactly. The separation is just insane. If they never watched a horror movie, like, you never separate.
No! Never. And always check the rooms.
Always.
So I'm gonna say.
No,
Always.
Don't you dare.
Do you think we have a red flag or a book boyfriend?
We have a book boyfriend. We have a book boyfriend. He's not perfect, let me tell you this. He did cheat on his girlfriend. I'm blind when it comes to that. In the TV show, I don't think he cheated. I think he has a girlfriend, then he breaks up with her, and then he gets with Cannons. So I'm choosing to believe that's what happened. He called the girlfriend and he said, I'm so sorry, I don't think this is working out, but I wish you the best. So that's over, and then he gets with Cannons. For me, that's what happened, okay? Again, he's not perfect, but compared to the Sinclair's family, oh my god, he's all the green flags. Compared to everyone else, yeah, green flag all the way. What about you?
I'm talking about Gat, and I'm gonna say neither, because I'll explain. Like, he's one of the healthiest love interests I've read in a while, besides the cheating. I close my eyes to that. My usual dark romance brain has absolutely no idea what to do with him. That's why I'm in this, like, floating world. Where's the restraining orders? Where are the morally questionable decisions? Where's the obsessive stalking? Instead, I've got emotional intelligence and political awareness. It's very inconvenient for my brand. He's like a book boyfriend, but I can't say that because it doesn't look good for me. So, do you have any moments that made you, like, laugh or cry or scream?
Okay, now listen. We're going to talk about something, and we're never going to talk about this again, because I don't want to cry. I don't want to talk about it. You don't want to talk about it. But we have to talk about it.
No, we don't have to talk about it.
We have to talk about it.
No, we don't have to talk about it.
We have to talk about it. The dogs. The dogs. Every time she called them naughty boys, I was ready to throw punches. How dare you, ma'am?
Why do we have to talk about the dogs?
Those dogs are amazing. They deserve statues. This whole storyline upset me even more than the liars. They were innocent, Your Honor. I keep imagining him there, not understanding what's happening, and just like, it's getting really hot, and then just like,
waiting at the door like, who's coming for me?
I just probably like scratching at the door trying to get out.
I hate you. Kill as many people as you want. Leave the dogs alone.
Leave them dogs alone!
What does, like, Cadence think? Like, when she goes back to the island and there's 3 different dogs there.
She's not even realizing, like, where are the other dogs?
Exactly. I'm like, you bitch.
This is the plot twist that got me, because when I knew about the dogs, because in the TV show they show the dogs, right? But in the TV
Oh god, they do? I'm not watching it.
yeah,
I'm not
in the
watching it.
TV show they show the dogs there. In the present, the dogs are still there. But in the book, they're not there. So I thought, oh, the dogs are safe. Because
Also,
they got me real good. In the TV show, the dogs are there. They're just two dogs and they are there. We can see them. It's like the ghost of Johnny and Miriam and Gat. She still sees the dog in the TV show. But in the book, she doesn't see them. So I was like, oh, the dogs are actually fine. The dogs are fine. Okay, I can deal with this. If the dogs are fine, then I'm good. I am set. And
were
then,
you like ugly crying when you found out?
And then she's like, the dogs were stuck in the room. And I was like, the dogs were what? The dogs were what? No, they're not. Stop telling me this. Stop lying to me. They're fine.
I don't know who hurt E. Lockhart.
My dog. They are
doggies.
innocent. And the fact that she kept calling him naughty boys pissed me off. It pissed me off. I was ready to
Oh my
punch.
God.
I was like, call them again. Say that again to me.
Oh my
I
god.
dare you. Anyway, let's move on before I lose my mind. What about you?
I'm not going to talk about the dogs because we already did, and that was my cry part, so I'm not going to talk about the dogs. Johnny was responsible for about 90% of my laughter in this book. He's dealing with family drama, generational drama, wealthy adults behaving badly, and somehow he's still making jokes, and every time he showed up, the mood instantly improved. The Sinclair adults are like constantly fighting over like inherited possessions, the houses, who Harris loves the most, whatever. You people have a fucking private island, and somehow you're all still miserable. How? How in the fuck? I got a private island? I don't have to see people? Great. Fantastic. That's like
I could spend all day in front of the ocean, keeping my toes in, reading a book. You think I'm gonna be sad?
With dogs around me? You think I'm gonna be sad?
Girlie, I'm gonna be enjoying my life. No one could piss me off. If I had that amount of money...
I would never feel hurt again.
No.
The scream part of it, I was literally yelling at the book because Cadence returns for summer 17, then nobody wants to talk to her about her accident. Immediately, everything felt suspicious.
Yeah!
Immediately. All the adults were acting weird. Every time she was just asking a reasonable question, someone would just change the subject. I just wanted to grab all the adults and just go like, fucking tell her. Tell her what happened to her. She deserves to know.
The reason why they didn't tell her is because her mom, when the accident happened, she kept telling her, but she kept forgetting, and she kept getting worse with migraines and stuff because she needed to figure it out by herself. Her brain was protecting herself from that grief, so every time someone told her, she would just... And honestly, I kind of want that superpower.
That would be cool.
Wouldn't it? Like,
but
anything bad happens to you and you just delete it off your brain.
Put it in a cabinet and go file away for
Goodbye.
trauma.
And your brain was just like... and gone.
My brain would probably be empty.
Can you imagine? Well, maybe I don't want that because then I would lose all my funniness.
Yeah, people wouldn't like me anymore. I'm kind of funny, and like, I think the reason I'm so nice to people is because I don't want people to treat me that way because of what I've experienced. But there are some things that I'd rather not know.
I would want it, but without changing my personality.
If I talk to my grandfather too long, he starts talking about his sex life with my grandmother. That's stuff that I just don't need, you know? Like, I can... That wouldn't alter my personality. It would just be nice not to know. You know?
I was gonna go with I would delete chokehold out of my brain, but I fear yours is better. Well, anyway, any controversial takes on this?
I don't think the twist is what makes the book brilliant. The twist is great, don't get me wrong, but what makes this book work is that slow build-up that the Sinclair family was already broken long before the fire.
I agree.
The ending hits because the tragedy isn't random. It's a result of years of selfishness, pressure, and silence. Also, if a book can make me cry this hard, I respect it. I just don't appreciate it. What are your controversial takes, if you have any?
I'm gonna go on a rant here. I told you I would. First, let me start off easy, because I said this before. The TV show is better. I said it. Sue me. I don't care. The side characters are more developed in the show. Johnny and Miriam feel like actual people instead of just supporting characters. The twist also lands harder on screen. Maybe that's because I've watched the show first, so on the book I already knew what was happening. But the reveal in the TV show absolutely wrecked me. I was like, I had to go back, excuse the fuck out of me, what do you mean they're dead? So that was not okay. This is the part where I need you all to sit the fuck up. The book also brushes past conversations about race and privilege that deserved a lot more depth. And can we talk about the fairy tales for a second? Not only did they get repetitive and interrupted the momentum, but they genuinely pissed me off. Let me set the scene. Kat literally just told Candace that he feels the racism coming from her grandfather. And it talks about feeling an outsider, how people see him differently. Even though the grandfather isn't outright racist to him, he can feel it. He sees how he thinks that Kat is less than. And then the next chapter, you turn off the page and it's a fairy tale where a princess falls in love with a mouse. A mouse. Could it not be a cat, a fox, a wolf, literally anything else? Nope, it's a mouse. Because a mouse carries all this symbolism of being small, unwanted, dirty, something people tolerate rather than accept. Considering the conversation they just had, I couldn't stop thinking about it. Now, I did like the line where, I think it's in the fairy tale, they say, if you want to live where people are not afraid of mice, you must give up living in palace. Great quote, really beautiful, but it feels a little too neat for the reality of what Gat is experiencing and what Gat told Candace about. To that, I read a quote Gat itself where he says, do not accept an evil, you can change. That line stuck with me far more than any of the fairy tales. While we're talking about adaptations in race, in this book they talk about Wuthering Heights, about Heathcliff. It made me think about how Jacob Elordi was cast as Heathcliff. If you think about it, that's quite insane, because a black woman was cast as Ariel, and the internet fell down on her. They were all like, why is there a mermaid who's black? A mermaid isn't black, she's white. I would like to say to those people, mermaids don't exist, so they can be black.
That is true. That
white,
is true.
Or, blue. But anyway, the internet suddenly became a marine biology expert. They all knew about mermaids and everything. I don't know if you ever read Wuthering Heights. It's literally one of my favorite books. But he is described as a dark-skinned and treated as an outsider because of his appearance. Jacob Elordi is the whitest man that ever white men in the world of white men.
And you don't hear anybody complaining.
But when a black woman was cast as a mermaid, everybody was talking about it.
I remember that because my niece is also mixed race, and I was thinking, how nice. Something she can relate to, something she can watch and say, oh my gosh, representation.
Yes.
I was just happy for her. This is amazing for her. And I just started seeing everybody talk negatively about it, and I was like, Ariel was literally my favorite childhood cartoon. I was not upset about the race change. Like, I was not, it had nothing to do with the story.
My mom, when I was growing up, she used to call me Little Mermaid because how much I love Ariel. If I saw a black Ariel growing up, it would mean so much to me. And I think it's not only racism, but also because she's a woman. We are okay to talk about women, but when a white man does something, no one's gonna shit about it. The racism is alive and well, unfortunately.
I actually think I have a beautiful copy of Wuthering Heights here. Isn't she gorgeous?
Wow. It is so pretty. It's so pretty. I love that book. The whole thing about Heathcliff is that his skin is described as dirty because he's a person of color. We've never heard about Ariel's skin color. For him, we do. It's something about him. It's descriptive. You're just gonna ignore that to cast a white man? We have enough white men on our screens. We don't need another one. I'm sorry. We don't.
It's true. So the fact that they could change that main part of the plot and no one says anything, but with Ariel, it was a huge thing. There was forums on it. So many people complaining,
Outrage.
like, I'm gonna get rid of Disney stuff. I was like, guys, can we chill, please, for a second?
Okay, to lighten the mood, Candace asked the liars at one point about their life mottos. Do you have any?
Always try it once. That's my life motto. Always try it at least once before you give an opinion on it. And you? Do you have a life motto?
I honestly just learned this one last week. I was talking with my kid's father, and we were talking about like the difficulties we have with my son, and he said, it's not over until we win it. I was like, yeah, it's not over until we win. And also, I have a tattooed on me. Mind is stronger than fear.
Yours are much more intellectual than mine.
Do you have any memorable moments?
The fire. Not just because it's shocking, but because the liars genuinely believed they were doing something good. Cadence, Johnny, Mirren, and Gat, when they decided to burn down Claremont, which is the house, the symbol of all evil, they do it so that the adults can stop the family fighting over possessions and inheritance. It was reckless. It was very naive. It became catastrophic. And it's one of those moments where you realize good intentions can still end in disaster. The second that plan started unfolding, my anxiety levels just skyrocketed. I was like looking at the book going like, no, bad idea. I knew that was going to end badly. I just knew it. What about you? Do you have any memorable moments?
I've talked about this. I will repeat myself again. The racism in this book is one of the main characters. Every time Kat called it out, I was just like, yes, bitch, you bring that out. ring that bell, please. I don't think it gets talked enough. The twist is devastating. The dogs, the liars, devastating. But some of the most memorable moments for me was Gat calling out the racism. The fact that he refuses to let the Sinclairs hide behind their wealth and their carefully grafted image. Clock it, bitch. Carrie, one of the aunts, the fact that she turned down Ed's proposal because she knew marrying him would cost her access to the Sinclair's money made me so angry. We're talking about a man she genuinely loves, and she still chose the approval of her family, of her dad, Harry, or whatever his name is.
Harris,
and the security of their wealth. Let's be real, the fact that Ed is a person of color isn't a coincidence. The family might not always say the quiet part out loud, but it's impossible to ignore the role race plays in who is accepted, who is tolerated, and who is considered good enough to belong. What makes the Sinclair family so fascinating and so infuriating is that they see themselves as good people. They see themselves as progressive, but when their money, status, and prejudice are challenged, their true priorities become very fucking clear. For me, those moments were just as memorable as the final reveal. Is this a reread or just a redrink?
Redrink. This is a great book, incredible book. Now that I know the twist and other things that I will not mention again, I don't know if I'm emotional stable enough to willingly put myself through that again. I happily sit here and discuss it, but I need wine, and I will not be volunteering for emotional damage twice, so I don't know if I'm gonna watch the show.
I completely agree. It's a redrink. You don't even need to ask me. Well written, memorable, but emotionally heavy enough that I don't feel a strong urge to revisit. I've seen what I had to see. Okay? Do you think this is a main character energy or delusional?
I don't know. I was a bit confused with this one. I put main character vibes here for Cadence because she spends most of the book confused and trying to reconstruct her memories, but she's actively searching for the truth no matter how painful it is. She knows it is. She realizes there's something they're not telling her on purpose because something has happened. Most people would avoid it. I probably would have avoided it. But Cadence keeps digging even when the answers destroy her. That showed a bit of main character vibes. What about you?
I think a little bit of both. I also mentioned Cadence here. She has main character energy, but she spends so much time refusing to see what's right in front of her that she occasionally wanders into delusional territory.
Would you recommend it to your grandma?
Yes, there's no graphic content, and it opens interesting conversations about wealth, family, loyalty, racism, grief, and privilege. Just be prepared for grandma to spend the entire discussion asking why these rich people make such horrible decisions. What about you?
Yes. Unlike the majority of books I bring to the podcast, there's no explanation I'd have to give. There's no scenes I'd have to tell her to skip. There's no FBI watch list concerns. Just a beautifully written mystery with an emotionally devastating ending. Maybe actually no, because my grandmother loves animals, and I like my grandma, so I don't know if I could do that to her.
Alright, that's enough opinions for one episode.
But I have so much more.
We've read.
We've discussed.
But did we fully understand it?
That's still up for debate.
Follow us on everything at Reading Between Lines for more book chaos and questionable takes. I'm Cici.
And I'm Mariana, and we'll see you next Friday with another book.
Another bottle.
And definitely more opinions you didn't ask for.
But need it.
And remember,
drink responsibly.
Actually critique irresponsibly.
Bye.
Bye! It was just the cannibalism part when they were in the basement. It was like what you said. It was like a truck going 100 kilometers an hour. The descriptiveness of it.
No.
The descriptive tone of it. Why can I actually imagine myself doing this? And why do I want to fucking grow up? It was horror. This was horror. I don't like horror. This was fucking horror.